Sirius and C, among several other star systems. We're going to talk a little bit about aquatic star beings and their galactic history, and the Earth history of mermaids, mermen, and merbeings. We're going to go over some mermaid and merbeing symbolism, merbeing spirit guides, and how to call on them, what they are helpful for. And for those of you that want to discover if you have mermaid indications in your star chart, or maybe your soul is of merbeing origin, I'm going to show you how to activate that. And then we're going to go over the mermaid, merman, and merbeing codes, signs in your natal chart. You were a mermaid in a past or parallel life. Some fabulous different indicators you can look for, and a bunch of cool mermaid asteroids. So let's start with the merbeings from Sirius B and C. So according to the Akashic records, Sirius B was already inhabited by races indigenous to that system. Humanoid beings didn't arrive in that system until much later in Sirian history. And many of the beings on Sirius A are actually from Vega. So when the Lyra star system was destroyed during the initial galactic wars, the Draconian Lyran wars, a lot of the beings from Lyra went and colonized places like Andromeda, Cassiopeia, the Pleiades, among many other places. And a lot of the Vega, or Vegan, starseeds, star beings, went to Sirius A. Sirius B and C are much more mysterious, and most of the original beings on Sirius B were aquatic in nature, such as cetaceans, dolphins, porpoises, whales, and other aquatic mammals. And Sirian merbeings, amphibian, humanoid types such as the Nomo, you may have heard of, who visited Earth several thousand years ago. So the Nomo are aquatic merbeings. They're kind of like half fish, half man, is how they're often described or depicted. And they've been a very large feature in the traditions and mythology of the Dogon tribe, which is a remote West African tribe located in the south of Timbuktu in the Republic of Mali. There's a lot of different books and sources on the internet that discuss the Dogon tribe and their long history. There are many different interactions with the Nomo, who they regarded as masters of the water and cosmic teachers from the Sirius star system. For the purposes of this webinar, I'm mostly just focusing on the galactic history. We could do a whole entire webinar just on the Dogon tribe and the Nomo, but just so you have a little highlight if you weren't familiar with them already. Okay, so here's a nice little depiction of Sirius A, which is huge. It is the brightest star in the night sky, and a snapshot of, kind of size comparison to Sirius B. So Sirius B is a white dwarf star, which is the last observable stage of a low to medium mass star. So white dwarfs get dimmer until they eventually stop burning and go dark, becoming black dwarf stars, which is the final stage of a star's evolution before it becomes something else. And scientists like to study white dwarfs like Sirius B in order to gain a better understanding of the stellar cycle. Eventually, Earth's sun will cycle to the white dwarf stage as well. So the luminosity of Sirius A overpowered scientists' observations for a long time, making it impossible to isolate the much dimmer luminosity of Sirius B until 2005. When astronomers were able to look at data collected by the Hubble Space Telescope and measure the mass of Sirius B for the first time. They found that Sirius B has a mass that's about 98% that of the Earth's sun. Pretty comparable in size. And it was obvious from some of these observations that Sirius B and C were much older star systems than Sirius A because of their stellar evolution. And that also verifies claims in the Akashic records that the amphibian and aquatic beings in these systems were much more ancient than the humanoid cat beings that resided in Sirius A and the refugees from Vega that later colonized Sirius A after those Lyra-Draco wars. So the planet Xylanthia is located in the Sirius star system, which is comprised of 3 stars. We have the Sirius A, the big one, Sirius B, and C. So Sirius A and B orbit around Sirius C, and planet Xylanthia orbits around Sirius C, which is a black dwarf star. And Xylanthia is the home of planets of many of the multidimensional and extraterrestrial beings that visited Earth and helped found Atlantis. The beings on Sirius B are mostly aquatic, and they did not really feel the need to evolve to live on land. And the planets of both Sirius B and Sirius A are quite watery and had little land mass compared to Earth. So the Sirian humanoids of Sirius A had to learn to retrofit their watery environment to suit their land-based needs. But for the mer people of Sirius B, they were already naturally well-suited to the oceanic landscape of their planet. It's an intergalactic water world. So the Sirian mer beings were great teachers and healers. However, they were not beautiful mermaids as depicted in many mythologies. They would have probably been considered ugly by Earth people standards, although I think they're kind of cool looking. They were often depicted in Babylonian, Akkadian, and Sumerian myths, and those of the Dogon, which we mentioned earlier. Yeah, kind of like a half man, half fish. Some of them even were depicted pretty scary looking. And some depictions of the Egyptian goddess Isis, who is said to have originated from Sirius, do show her looking like a mermaid. Interesting little factoid here. Did you know that there are some claims that the cannabis plant originated from Sirius B? Even the origins of the word cannabis come from the Greek canna, meaning canine or dog, and bis, meaning the number 2. So cannabis is actually the 2-dog plant from the dog star of Sirius. The Dogon people were the first ones to make that claim to Herodotus, the famous Greek traveler and chronicler, in 300 BC. So the Dogon people also talked about the existence of a 3rd star, which is really amazing. This is long before telescopes existed, but they knew there wasn't just a Sirius A, they also knew there was a B and a C. And they called this 3rd star in the Sirius system Emeya. So in 1995, 2 French astronomers published the results of a multi-year study that there was apparently a small red dwarf star in the Sirius system, which had only about 0.05 the mass of Sirius B, so much, much smaller. And this supports the Dogon concept of Emeya, Sirius C. Sirius C was home to the descendants of reptilian refugees from the Lyra-Draco wars, and also to humanoid reptilian hybrid races, such as the race we know on Earth as Mani. It is thought that Nibiru, or Planet X, once a small planet that revolves around Sirius C until the destruction of that star system, which then catapulted its orbit towards Earth. So in addition to the aquatic mer beings from Sirius B and C, there are other mer beings out there. One of such is the aquatic star beings, Festarians, or Lyran mermaids, that originated on the Lyra star system. So in the Lyra star system, there once existed this utopian water world inhabited by a race of Festarians. They lived in a beautiful world with floating islands and underground caverns. And these souls, very purified, these wonderful structures on their planet sea with beautiful towers made out of shimmering shells. And the Festarians are a beautiful race, not like Earth's depiction of mermaids, but their tails look like kind of a betta fish in an array of colors. They're very human looking in their upper body, though, and their hair is kind of an array of colors, shimmery, kind of rainbow ray. They're the rainbow mermaids. Then we also have the aquatic star beings from Mintanka. So Mintanka is one of the three stars that make up Orion's belt. And Mintankans originated from this utopian water world that's near that planet. It is said to be airier and more crystal clear because the density allows light to transmit easier. And their planet, much like the Festarians, was this really beautiful water world, paradise, just really filled with a lot of positive energy, a lot of love, a lot of light. Sad to note that that planet no longer exists. It was destroyed by some of the negative factions, negative beings in that local Orion galaxy during the Orion Wars. And this is why a lot of Mintanka starseeds feel a sense of homesickness and feel drawn to live near beaches, oceans, or the water in some way. So we'll talk a little bit about how to identify if you have that star prominent or maybe chart. So the Mintankans throughout cosmic history, that's really been a sacred spot for ancient civilizations. And they were partly responsible for helping seed the early civilizations of Lemuria, Atlantis, and Maya. They're also one of the first star seeds to arrive on the planet when fourth density dimensional energy was first beginning to develop. So they're very ancient mermaids. Let's talk a little bit now about the Earth history of mermaids, the cup of the galactics. Let's go down into so the Earth history of mermaids. Mermaids, mermen, and merbeans are often associated with Earth history, especially Lemuria and Atlantis. Beings of Lemuria had special gifts and were known as water healers and earth healers. And they were really focused on the law of one, unity consciousness. And Lemurians were said to be shapeshifters with this superpower ability to change form and were able to move in a similar way to whales, dolphins, mermaids, and birds. And a great flood, we know, cataclysm, brought about the end and sinking of Lemuria. Many different theories on exactly what happened there, but the Lemurian Holocaust, some call it, or the Lemurian cataclysm, happened many years, thousands of years before Atlantis finally sank. So some of the Lemurians went into the ocean and shapeshifted into whales, dolphins, and merbeans or mermaids to be able to survive that cataclysm. Many of the other surviving Lemurians colonized in Mount Shasta, Hellos, this dimensional city that is underground and above the consciousness of Mount Shasta. And so the time of Atlantis did overlap with Lemuria. The merbeings that survived the Lemurian cataclysm were imbued with this really special power and a high vibrational energy. They were some of the few survivors that held the Lemurian codes, that had the Lemurian knowledge, that they were holding as sacred. And they really are ancient goddesses of the sea and crystal goddesses as well. The crystal energies and ancient knowledge that's deeply connected to merbeings and their ties to consciousness and foresight, psychic abilities, they knew that their sinking or their cataclysm was coming. So they stored a lot of their most important information in crystals, some of which are underneath the sea for the mermaids to guard. And to have a connection to the sacred mermaid is really to have goddess energies, to have intuitive crystal magic abilities, to really be a guardian, a healer of the heart, and a healer of the waters of the ocean. So we know mermaids are the guardians of the sea. They look out for whales, dolphins, and other sea-dwelling creatures, and they are the female members of the tribe, and the mermen are the masculine divine mermaids. And mermaids are often also said to be elementals. So just like the spirits of the air, earth, fire, mermaids are trying to get our attention at this time to help heal the seas and work in harmony with the ocean sprites and undines, whose job it is to energetically purify the water, to heal and help others, humans, heal emotional problems. Emotions are strongly related to water and traumas. So mermaid energy and the mermaid elemental is very soothing and supportive. So the undines are a type of elemental that is associated with water and also live in the oceans, look after the underwater plants and also the energy ley lines in the sea. Their job is to keep these aquatic energy ley lines free so Mother Earth can send her energy along them. And water dragons also travel along these ley lines and are affected when they become energetically choked or blocked in some way. The undines also live in fresh water, rivers, streams, lakes, and can sometimes look like mermaids, except they have legs instead of tails. And then the infamous Nereids. Couldn't not talk about them. Um, the Nereids are daughters of the sea, daughters of Nereus, who hold the sea, who is kind of like this embodiment of the sea and the ocean. And their
Ah.
mother, the Black Forest, was one of the 3,000 oceans in Greek mythology.
Mm.
And one of the Oceanids, as well, as you may know, is the mother of the Pleiades, Cleo. So, one obscure source, however, made Amphitrite, usually just a Nereid herself, the mother of Nereid. So, some sources say it's Doris, some say it's Amphitrite. I'll let you decide. And so, traditionally, there were 50 Nereids, and some sources say even 100.
Hello.
Amphitrite, one of the Nereids, married Poseidon,
Sorry, I was asleep.
which
Sorry,
is the
guys, I was
elder
asleep.
brother of Neptune.
Oh.
And the Nereids were really highly honored among the gods. Many of the gods took them as consorts, married them, had children with them. So they're regarded as a very high status in the Greek pantheon. All right, let's talk about mermaid and merbeam symbolism.
Oh.
So the myths of mermaids are enchanting. I'm sure you've heard some. Many stories of the mermaid tell of enticing beauty, raw sensuality, and humans who succumb to their haunting souls, the siren. And in this, we see where we tell of enticing beauty, raw sensuality, and humans who succumb to their haunting souls, the siren. And in this, we see where the mermaid becomes this symbol or emblem of balancing our heart and our head. We need to think clearly in matters of love and lust. And additionally, there are times in our lives where it's okay to dance to a different magical tune. Individuality and nonconformity are definitely traits and symbols of the mermaid. be fairly lucky in that if they're in a generous mind, they might grant a wish. However, sailors, way back in time, considered them a foreboding sign that the proverbial ship may never reach land again. And the etymology of mermaid comes from the 14th century term mermaid, meaning maid or maiden of the sea. And the Old English word was similar, merwif or water witch.
Say I love.
Well, artists frequently depict mermaids with this unusual due to this sailors believe that it's a
Say I love.
weather was coming through formation of strong winds. Another tool of the mermaid is a mirror used in magic as a looking glass, much like a crystal ball would be used. Mirrors represent intuitive self. These tools symbolize abilities and psychic mermaids and merpeens are often regarded as sea, and they appear most frequently at dawn and dusk when the veil between worlds grows thin. And some say they only show themselves to people who have pure hearts. Being tied to the water element, mermaid may take on the meaning of a source of life, cleansing, and symbolizes renewal as well. Water can also be a fierce foe with crashing waves that threaten to take us under into the unknown, depths of the ocean. And the ancients found themselves inexplicably attracted to the mermaid, while also being frightened of their power. This magnetism, this allure, this mystery, but also this element of danger. So just a little bit of a symbolic overview of merbeing symbolism here. Adaptability, awareness, discretion, divination, innocence, nonconformity, psychic aptitude, shape-shifting, and uniqueness. Let's talk about merbeing spirit guides. How to connect with them. So when a mer spirit guide swims she or he brings you into the realm of water, you will be challenged to dig deep inside yourself so you can truly feel it. And throughout this journey, the mermaid offers love and support. The merbeing may also bear a message of connecting with your inner child and nature. And as an etheric elemental being, the mermaid is out of time, even as magic. So merbeing can teach you to walk through different worlds safely. There are spaces and places where all time swirl together, opening up infinite possibilities. So it's a good idea to reach out to a merbeing spirit guide anytime you work with the element of water, ritual, meditation, magic, water magic. When you need inspiration, particularly in song, a mer spirit guide can help you increase your confidence so you can really sing from your heart. And the mermaid represents transition and transmutation. So when you face unique challenges in your life, the merbeing spirit guide can help you steady around you. Mermaid medicine helps you heal broken hearts, discouragement, and goes on supporting your intuitive self so you can avoid transcend chaos as well. So merbeings are beautiful spirit guides to work with. water, particularly the ocean. They call on them, works in alignment with the one source to help guide. All right, so mermaid and mermaid soul. This is the best part. So mermaid and merbean souls, you might be one of them. They often embody the following traits: feeling at one with nature, to see the wonders of the world, really appreciate them with deep gratitude. Mermaid, if you were a mermaid in a past life, or you have a merbean soul origin, even, um, really often embody feelings of joy, peace, and life within. Their language of love is affirmation. They really just like greed. They don't seek to possess others with things. Material things just aren't really that interesting to them. They do tend to seek mutual goals and support for achieving certain goals. And these types, starseeds, mermaid starseeds, or mermaid being souls, their inner child is usually really strong and very active, wonder, beautiful sense of wonder for the world. They tend to be amazing empaths. However, empathy can become their undoing because they feel everything and get easily overwhelmed. So it's super important if you were a mermaid or a merbeing in a past life, parallel life, or even if you have, this is your soul origin, your origin point, that's soul, your birth information. It's so important to learn to detach from others' needs, because this protects from psychic overload and burnout. A lot of these soul types may not settle down, enjoy their lover. They're very private people, love the water, the ocean, especially. And as healers, they may exclusively work with the water element. This might just be the element they feel drawn to and want to really immerse themselves in. Mer souls tend to have intense psychic ability. They see spirits, fairies, devas, angels, other elementals, and other creatures beyond the veil, quite easily. And some of their gifts may include clairvoyance and having hypnotic lure. So let's talk a little bit about mermaid and merbean code. To get your natal star chart, if you don't have access to it already, Time Packages app is free. That's a great resource. Astro.com. Astro Deepest. Website astro.com. Plug in your info, you'll meet your exact birth time, and then you can get your natal star chart wheel with the degree on it. Super important to have. So signs in your natal chart were a merbeing past or parallel life. So if you have any planets or luminaries or asteroids to cover right after this, conjunct within 1-2 degrees, I would say within 1 degree of any of these points, that is a clear mermaid or merbeing curve. Star chart for a lot of you right now. So any planets, luminaries, or angles too, with the big star Sirius, which is currently at 14 degrees of Cancer in the tropical zodiac, 20 degrees of Gemini in the sidereal. I highly recommend just pick one system to work with. If you prefer working with the tropical zodiac, great. If you want to work with sidereal, awesome. Run with that. But both are on here for you. There's definitely ways you can integrate both of those. For the purposes of this, it's helpful just to start with one. An interesting fun fact, asteroid Atlantis is conjunct for a period. In my natal star chart, I know I have past parallel life as a mermaid. And that happens to fall in my 11th house. So a lot of my friends are also mermaids. You could probably find that. So look for 14 degrees of Cancer in the tropical, or 20 degrees Gemini in the sidereal. See if your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, if your ascendant is conjunct with that point, within just a degree or two. Your most recent incarnation before this one was as a mermaid. And yeah, and another really important point to look for is star mentality, Orion itself. mermaid spirit guide is essential for you or even easier for you to tap into. Your Venus is conjunct with one of these points. That could absolutely mean that you have an alluring ability, like a mermaid. So check those two ones out. Those are the two fixed stars. The main two that I find often with clients that have cast parallel as mermaid or mermaid origin points have Venus in their chart. And then, of course, the Atlantean and Lemurian asteroids. So asteroid Atlantis, 1198, plug that in, the little box on astro.com. You can just plug these numbers in and see where they fall in your natal star chart. So we have asteroid Atlantis and the Lemurian asteroids. The three main ones, there's quite a few. The three main ones are Hawaii, Bali, and Hawaii. So check and see if any of those asteroids are conjunct in a degree or two of your sun, moon, your rising, any of the other planets, and also if they are conjunct with Sirius or Alpha, that also Another thing we tend to look for, signs that you were a mermaid in past parallel life, lots of water in your natal chart. Some people have a really water-heavy chart. Maybe they don't have the exact conjunct Sirius right. Usually there's an asteroid, a few asteroids that show up. But you have a lot of water, really like your big three are all water sign, or more than 5 or 6 as it relates to dark water. That's another strong indicator. Okay, so let's check out mermaid and merman asteroids. There's quite a few of them. So these are some interesting asteroids that are related to the mermaids, and they can explain why it might feel called to mermaid or magic if they show up prominently in your natal star chart. So I'm going to go through them with you, but you have this master list as well in the asteroid astrology. So Amphitrite, we talked a little bit about her. She married Poseidon. She's the third goddess of the sea. Yes, of course, exciting. Anahita is an Iranian goddess of the waters, healing and wisdom. She's kind of like their being, in their culture. Aphrodite, goddess of love. Her name means risen of the sea foam. You see her, beautiful and shell. Very mermaid vibes, Aphrodite does. That's the Roman version of Venus, right? In the Greek. We talked a little bit about Atlantis, the lost land of Atlantis, and many birds and facts. Castalia, that is a water spring near Delphi. It's connected to the Muses and the Nereids. That one could also show up in your star chart. Ceto is the Greek primordial goddess of the sea as well. And Chariklo, we've talked quite a bit about Chariklo. That is Chiron's wife. And, she's described as a shape-shifting shaman, centaur, and nymph. So she's part centaur, but she also is nymph or her being. And that's super cool. She's doing it all. So pay attention if that one shows up in your chart. That can also indicate healing ability with water and a need connecting with water to support your healing journey. Then we got Daphne. She is the Greek freshwater nymph of the rivers, fountains, and streams. Dynamic, which is another Nereid associated with the power of great ocean swell. Then we have Eurindle, if I'm saying that right, which is an oceanid and daughter of the ocean. Laut, which is the personification of color in the sea. Her name actually translates to sea green. We have Castalia, water spring and nymph of Delphi as well. Lycia, one of the 3,000 ocean nymphs. We have Leucothea, Greek goddess of sailors. gendered identified folks that are following, that's a great one to look up in your chart too, if you're not so much asteroids. Then we have Morgan, that is Welsh or seaborn, and one of the water spirits of Celtic traditions, Welsh tradition. Nearest, which is the firstborn son of the sea, Gaia, and father, the Nereids. So that's giving like King Titan vibes right there, right? That's giving like very, father of the ocean, honey. Then we have Nerina, which is another one of the sea nymphs, and it's Nereus is the one brother of Daenerys. There was like 50 to 100 of Daenerys. We had just one brother. So he's kind of like the one male in the mix. And of course, this is a really important one. If you don't look up all of these, I don't blame you, but I would definitely look up Nymph 875. That encompasses the sea nymph merbeing archetype. And then we also have Oceana, is mermaid home, Marian mermaid marker, big one there, Oceana. Parentheno, one of the sirens. Poseidon also is an interesting one to look up because he's so intertwined with the sea nymphs and the merbeing, and kind of also show you where your regalness, how to tap into the regal energy of the ocean, how to embody the ocean in a kingly way or in a royal way, to be the ruler of your inner emotions, your inner ocean, if you will. So Poseidon is a great one. We haven't talked too much about him on Patreon, but I'll have to do a deep dive just into that asteroid for you guys. And then this is our last little bit of asteroids, the merman asteroid. Pythia. She is a priestess and oracle of Delphi. She's described kind of as like this serpent woman, but also has a nymph mer being quality to her. Undina, we talked about the Undine, the elemental water being spirits or sea nymphs, water nymphs. It could be freshwater as well. That's a great one to look up in your chart too, just to kind of see how water elemental shows up for you, what house it's in, right? What area of your life are some of these merbeing asteroids really showing up, showing you where you can kind of tap more into this energy, honor your emotions, your individuality more. Then we have Salcia, which is the Roman goddess of strangers. Skyla, she transformed into this is a nymph that transformed into a sea monster. So this can kind of show maybe a darker shadow aspect of the sea nymphs. Sedna, which is an Inuit mother and mistress of the sea. Siren, Odysseus, Merladies, right? The siren itself. Thetis, Greek sea nymph, Paris. Varuna, which is the Hindu god of the ocean, and Velamo, Finnish goddess of the ocean. So there you have it. Those are all the different merbeing asteroids. You can definitely refer back to this. Pick a few that you want to work with. You absolutely do not have to pick all. You're doing that. Pick two or three, that really stand out to you. And I wanted to include ones from different cultures, different backgrounds, ones that have a wide range of segmentation, just to kind of see, where some of these pop up for you. So, final thoughts on the magical mermaids. Mermaids did absolutely once in physical form roam the waters of the Earth's ocean sphere, and we know that there are many galactic mermaids still out there in the cosmos. As a spirit guide,
I'll tell you,
are
mate.
beautiful
Good.
energies to work with. They really are, especially if you feel drawn to water. You're having a hard time emotionally. I think they're wonderful, wonderful spirit guides to connect with. And I will also be creating very soon.
Oh, God, it's me.
That as well. So thank you guys so much for joining me on this fabulous aquatic journey to the mermaid. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube, please do so now. It helps me out a lot.
Hey, what's up?
Helps me out greatly. Thank you guys. my moon. So it's one of my starseed origins is on the Tucana constellation. So let's get into it, you guys. Oh, and by the way, my name is Heather of the Starseed Sanctuary. If you're new here, please take a minute and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all of the magical content that I've been creating. And thank you for joining me out on this avian starseed series. So let's get into the Toucan constellation. So Tucana, the Toucan constellation lies in the southern hemisphere, and it's the 48th constellation in size, pretty small constellation located in the southern hemisphere. Its neighbors are Aridians, Spruce, Crane, Hydrus, Indus, Oxen, and Venus. And the constellation's name is Latin for the toucan. You guessed it, a South American bird with a huge bill. We like to talk. There's Tucana. That's what I do for a living. I talk. Tucana contains 3 stars, known planets, no mice-ear objects, and the brightest star is Alpha Tucana. There are no stars associated with the constellation, but it is home to the Tucana dwarf galaxy and one of my favorite globular clusters, 47 Tucana, which we went over in the Star Cluster Astrology webinar. If you haven't watched that one, I highly recommend it in the Deep Space Astrology playlist. There's some other really cool space objects in Tucana, but the Tucana cluster is pretty spectacular. One of the brightest of 3. Okay, so toucan. The toucan is a South American bird, and tribes consider the toucan very sacred.
Morning.
The toucan travels between the spirit world and the realm of the living, messenger for both. We know that all birds are messengers, and you see that with all of the different avian star families, from blue avians all the way through Aquila the eagle, cygnus the swan, toucana, etc. They're all messengers. All of these types of starseeds are messengers for different purposes, for different soul missions. But a messenger with the gift of something they're supposed to share through their voice in some way. And so among the Aztecs, stories say that the toucan's beak formed this beautiful rainbow. And the toucan's association with the rainbow is not about worshiping the bird when praying for rain. So there's some beautiful synchronicities here with the toucan and rainbows. I love color. Like every room in my house is a different color. I love wearing different colors. Often seen my YouTube channel. If you follow me on Instagram, it's color coding. We all about that color. Every single
Morning. How you
So
doing?
some additional symbolism with the toucan. So communication is a very big thing for this
Oh,
bird,
dear me.
these types of stars. Symbolism of the toucan also includes fraction, visualization, authenticity, colorfulness, creative arts, all of the different creative arts, as well as some of the more traditional, like writing, singing, drawing, and painting. And overcoming blockage. The toucan is a wonderful star guide, spirit guide, and power animal for the as a startype, as a starseed archetype. These starseeds are very powerful clairaudience, gift of hearing, very skilled at bringing community together, excellent group facilitators. And sightings are great. If you're lucky enough to see one of these magnificent, beautifully colored birds in real life, or maybe it shows up in the dream realm for you, this could be a message for you to work a little bit more on your throat chakra, on clearing it, aligning it, healing it, activating it, or however you need to do so, as well as relationship confidence. All right. So toucan starseeds, souls that have had more recent incarnations associated with this star system, as well as toucan souls that had their very first incarnation in form connected to that star system and the toucan. This star family as the spirit guide has such an interesting energy and really highly encourages us to find what makes us unique and share that with the world. Even if some people, a lot of people don't understand or even vibe your eccentric and eclectic energy outward, others who do resonate with it know how and where to find you. You gotta let that freak flag fly, baby. Otherwise, other people are not gonna know how to find you. Okay, so I get it. It's kind of scary sometimes, boldly being your authentic self. So be it, right? Love it or shut it is what I say. Some people are gonna love it and they're gonna understand it, and then it flocks to you, but it tends to hear. And other people are just like, not for me, and they can migrate away. I love it. So Tucana starseed and Tucan souls. So we know that the Tucana star system is the most interesting and flamboyant star families. They're incredibly and colorful. These star guides are so distinct and so very different than a lot of the other star families. There is a lot of diversity and color there. There's, of course, avian types of beings there, humanoid beings, as well as hybrid grays as well. The beings from Tucana love self-expression in all forms, especially those that are really artistic or bold in some way. Get your attention. So toucan starseeds and toucan souls generally share the following characteristics. Good at communication, often excellent communicators, especially verbally and in written form. They have a theatrical energy, darling. They enjoy the spotlight. They love being around people, but sometimes a little smaller, more intimate groups are more comfortable for them. They tend to work out better emotionally too when they're in smaller groups. It's just the vibe is a little better for them because they are highly sensitive beings. They dream of traveling, yet sometimes home keeps them rooted most of the time. So they're really good visionaries. Even when they can't necessarily travel the globe, they'll go on meditation journeys, multidimensional journeys. I can attest to that. They love to be spontaneous. That's something that really feeds their soul, that helps them feel more like themselves. They are very eccentric, odd, easily misunderstood by others. They're weird, as I always say, it never gets weird enough for me, baby. Okay, the weirder the better. These types of starseeds and souls really love staying true to themselves. That's essential for their overall health and wellness. They can work to be more mindful of carefully speaking. They sometimes can be prone to spreading their energy in too many directions. And they must prioritize boundaries and self care so they don't get burnt out. All right, let's talk about Tucana starseed codes. So get your natal star chart handy if you have it. If you don't have one, you can get a free one on the Time Passages app or astro.com. Astroseek.com is another great one to get the free resource. You will need to know your exact time of birth, and then you can get the wheel with the degrees and see if you have any Tucana starseed codes to unlock. Let's do it. Okay. So I have both the tropical and the sidereal zodiac codes here. Just as a reminder, the tropical zodiac is based on the sun's trajectory across the celestial equator and the fixed solstice and equinox points. It is a seasonal system. It is just as accurate as sidereal, but it's used for different purposes. Now, sidereal is a more updated true sky system because the fixed stars do move 1 degree every 72 years. So over the last 2,000 years, the stars have moved almost an entire sign in space. So sidereal is based on the accurate, updated coordinates. Both are accurate, both are relevant, and I am going to go into very detail about how to work with these different systems in my Starseed Astrology for Beginners course, linked below if you want to check it out. Okay, so if you have any natal star chart placements within 1 to 3 degrees of these stars, you have connections to this star family. The more closer in conjunction, the more prominent the energy is going to be of the Tucan in your natal star chart. So, closer planets, the sun, the moon, your ascendant, Mercury, Venus, Mars, those would be considered starseed origins. They would generally be considered more recent incarnations or associations with Tucana. star system. More further out planetary placements, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, Sedna, things that are really far out would be considered more ancient or older starseed origins. So in the tropical zodiac system, we have Delta Tucana at approximately 7 degrees Aquarius, Alpha Tucana, 10 degrees Aquarius. That one's conjunct my moon, exactly. So that's a big starseed Tucana code for me. Epsilon Tucana at 19 degrees Aquarius, Gamma Tucana at 20 degrees Aquarius, and Zeta Tucana at 22 degrees Aquarius. So if you have a conjunction to one of the stars of Tucana in the tropical zodiac system, you're also going to have it in the sidereal zodiac system. The only thing that will change is the zodiac sign and the degree. In the sidereal system, we have the zodiac Tucana codes. Delta Tucana at 13 degrees Capricorn, Alpha Tucana at 15 degrees Capricorn, Epsilon Tucana at 24 degrees Capricorn, Gamma Tucana at 26 degrees Capricorn, and Zeta Tucana at 28 degrees Capricorn. The planet or luminary that is closest in conjunction to one of the stars in Tucana will show you how this energy is expressed through your current incarnation. So for me, for example, Alpha Tucana is conjunct my moon. How I nurture myself, right? How I feel emotionally cared for, my subjective inner world, as well as things related to business, finance, how I nurture and care for others, especially in my day-to-day work routines, because it's in the 6th house, has a very weird, eccentric, flamboyant, colorful Tucana, let's talk about it, energy. Okay? It makes total sense for the work that I've done over my entire life, including currently. For you, the toucan could be conjunct your sun. So that might be a little bit more of your outward shining energy, the core, energy of your soul and your ego could also in some way be connected to the father, your biological father or father figures in your life. And one of the most powerful conjunctions I think that comes up for all of the different avian star families is if you have one of the avian star families like Tucana conjunct your Mercury, because we know that all of the avian star families are messengers, and so conjunct Mercury, that's even a more potent Tucana starseed or avian starseed code, really highlighting you are here to be a messenger of something that is avian in symbolism, in archetypal expression, in origin as well. Just keep all of that in mind, and let me know in the comments if you have any planets conjunct one of the stars of the toucan, which one it is, what house it's in. I could give you a little more info in the comment section. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Tucana alignment. So the Tucana alignment is a beautiful time for the following. We're celebrating your gifts. We all have unique gifts, and we sometimes don't celebrate them or share them enough. The Tucana alignment really highlights there's a need to do this because that's what you're here to do, especially as a starseed. For clearing and healing and activating the throat chakra. Okay, if we have blocks to the throat chakra, even things like chronic sore throats, chronic ailments, you're getting sick a lot of the time, or you feel really blocked, you don't feel like you can speak up, you have a hard time, like, hello, public speaking is like the number one fear, right? And it is scary sometimes. The Tucana alignment is a really great time to do some throat chakra clearing, to activate that. So it feels like a clear channel for you to speak in a way that is easily understood, that is clear, that is concise, that is eloquent, that is authentic, that's weird. Go weird, baby. When in doubt, freak them out, right? The Tucana alignment also nudges you out of hiding a little more into the spotlight. So if you've been holding back from sharing a little bit more of your thoughts online or promoting your business, this is a great time to lean into that and really start practicing, right? Coming out a little bit more of the shadows, just being seen a little bit more. Tucana alignment also helps us dissolve the need for wearing many different masks. We do this. We all do this. It's a pretty normal thing. We're, the work self, the right family self, the personas that you put on when you're at the grocery store, when you're interfacing with the doctor or whatever. You're on the online with PG&E with whatever. I just had to do a bunch of that because I moved. But it's like it's okay to dissolve that a little bit and allow your true core self to shine through. You can be who you truly are in any situation. You really can. The Tukana alignment also helps show your genuine beauty and authentic self, to work on bolstering self esteem and really busting through any type of creative blocks. If you've been feeling like, man, I have writer's block, or man, I don't feel like painting, or man, I don't feel like designing some new thing in Canva, or blah, blah, whatever, the Tukana alignment is really going to help you bust through that, as well as to sprinkle in some discipline. Sometimes it's a creative block, sometimes it's a discipline issue, right? We need to be both. Find a way to do both. Find a way to continue to honor your creativity and be disciplined about it. Both are needed. Tukana alignment also really helps us embrace our lives as the artful stories they are. Your life is art. Life is art, and art is life. They are the same thing, if you ask me. So it's a beautiful thing to tell your tales, to tell your stories with inspiration. You have life experience that can help someone else. So share it. Help teach someone. You don't have to go to school and get a bunch of fancy degrees to be gifted at helping others. Okay. The Chicana alignment also really lifts your voice and your vision because you have a distinct take on the world that's worthy of sharing. Yes, I love me the Chicana alignment. Okay, so the sun is going to be conjunct the Tucson constellation roughly January 27th through February 11th in the northern hemisphere. The Tucana will be more easily to access in the day sky. Best for daytime meditation, absorbing some light codes through the portal of the sun, clearing. I would even really do the throat. Let's sun the throat, right? Clear the throat. Also, that third eye, the upper chakras are great to do. I know it's winter in the northern hemisphere, but if it's warm enough where you are, getting as much sun on your body is great. So, take the shirt off, put the bikini on, whatever you need to do. That might be. If you're in the southern hemisphere, this is going to be opposite. So Tucana will be opposite the sun. The dates will be reversed. So the sun will be conjunct Delta Tucana January 27th. Dates vary slightly based on your latitude. The sun will be conjunct Alpha Tucana January 30th through the 31st. The sun will be conjunct Epsilon Tucana February 8th. Conjunct Gamma Tucana February 9th. And then finally conjunct Theta Tucana February 11th. If your birthday falls on any of those days, your sun is aligned with one of these stars in Tucana. That's a very clear Tucana star symbol for you. All right, and then the opposite alignment with Tucana will happen 6 months later in the northern hemisphere, where Tucana will be opposite the sun June 27th through July 11th. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, this will be the direct alignment with the sun. So the direct alignments when Tucana is connected to the sun are great for activation, for energy upgrades, for enhancing your connections and that symbolism, that archetypal energy of the Tucana, infusing that throughout your mind, body, and soul. The opposite alignments are really great for healing blocks, moving through any challenges, barriers to connecting with creativity and everything else that the Tucan symbolizes. And of course, side note here, you don't need to wait for a astrological alignment to connect with a star guide or a star family. You can connect any time of year. You can experience activations and upgrades any day of the year. It's just even more heightened during these astrological alignments. So it's a little easier, right? To kind of, it's like the cheat code, right? It's just a little easier to get where you need to go on those days. All right, y'all, that was our magical Tucana starseed video. Thank you so much for joining me on this Tucan starseed adventure. Please take a minute to like this video if you enjoyed it. And yeah, ask questions below in the comments. Always happy to connect with you guys and answer those questions. you, sending you guys galaxies of love and gratitude, weird colorfulness. Hello, gorgeous souls. Welcome to another fabulous avian starseed video. This one is all about Aquila, the eagle starseed and eagle souls. So we're going to be talking a little bit about the Aquila star system. So if one of your more recent starseed homes was in Aquila, you would be considered an Aquila or eagle starseed. If this is your original, most ancient galactic home, one of your very first incarnations in physical form, you would be an eagle soul. So, more recent incarnations are considered starseed origins. More ancient, your first original incarnation is your soul origin point. You could be either or both. So, let's get into it. All right. So Aquila, the eagle constellation, is located in the northern sky on the celestial equator. The constellation's name means the eagle in Latin, and the eagle is really easy to spot, flying opposite the celestial swan Cygnus. Altair, the constellation's brightest star, forms this beautiful prominent asterism known as the summer triangle with Vega in Lyra and Cygnus's main star, one of the main stars, Deneb. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is a great asterism to find in the night sky. It's really easy to find in the summer and fall months. Okay, so Aquila, the eagle constellation, is the 22nd brightest constellation in the night sky, biggest constellation in the night sky, and one of the 15 equatorial constellations. So Aquila is home to Altair. This is the 12th brightest star in the night sky. Really easy to find in the night sky, even if you're in somewhere that has a little bit of light pollution. And Altair is also known as the nearest star in Aquila at a distance of only 16.77 light years from Earth. Aquila, the constellation, has 9 stars with known planets. And some deep space objects of Aquila include on the left here the glowing eye nebula, and on the right the Aquila open cluster in GC 6709. So the Aquila myth. So in Greek mythology, Aquila is the eagle that carried Zeus's thunderbolts and was once dispatched by the god to carry Ganymede, the young Trojan boy, to Olympus to be the cupbearer of the gods. The name of the brightest star in the constellation Altair is derived from the Arabic, which means flying eagle or vulture. Both the Babylonians and Sumerians called Altair the eagle star. So some symbolism here of the eagle. So many powerful things that the eagle can symbolize. So sovereignty, freedom. You see this with a lot, not just the US, but a lot of different countries use the eagle on their crest, on their flags, on their emblems. Royalty have used it for eons. So freedom, power, divine messages, all of the various avian star families are messengers. The eagle Aquila is a messenger of power, of freedom, of sovereignty. So just keeping that in mind. Aquila, the eagle, also symbolizes great spirit, higher perspective. It's one of the highest flying birds, so it can see things from a very expansive vantage point, that bigger, broader picture. It also symbolizes independence, the air element, and renewal. The Aquila archetype. So these star seeds are very clairvoyant, very vibrant, and interestingly at the same time quite grounded. They're very gifted at collective healing, seeing the higher perspectives, taking and guiding others on visions. Sightings and dreams. If an eagle appears in your dreams, or maybe you're lucky enough to see one IRL in real life, that can indicate the arrival of golden opportunities and positive changes in life. Aquila eagle starseed soul. Okay. So like all of the avian star families, the beings from Aquila are incredibly ancient. They were souls who came to Earth from Aquila way back in the days of Lemuria. And many of the ancient mystery school teachings that are resurfacing now are of avian origin. These beings were not actually classified as starseeds until after the shift on Earth that started with the fall of Lemuria and Atlantis. They have been incarnating ever since, and they have been assisting the evolution of consciousness, much like their higher dimensional blue alien ancestors. All right, so Aquila eagle starseed traits. These starseeds are deeply into all forms of magic, love occult and esoteric wisdom, hold a really powerful force of energy within. There's a quiet and somewhat mysterious nature to them. They really don't like to be bothered by some of the mundane stuff, some of that boring day to day stuff. It's just not for them. These souls tend to keep to themselves or prefer being in a small group. They love heights, mountain climbing. It comes to mind as one example, but they love heights in general. They can sometimes be a little moody and sensitive to many energies around them because they are so sensitive. They really need time to unplug and clear their energy field and have quiet time alone to recharge. Eagle starseeds and eagle souls have been here for so long. They really love exploring in all fields. They love psychic stuff, but may not be into the idea that souls come from other worlds, as they are skeptics. They take everything with a grain of salt. They're very discerning by nature, which is an excellent trait to have. Let's get into the good stuff now. Aquila starseed code. So you're going to need your natal star chart. If you don't have one, you can get a free one on the Time Passages app, astro.com, or astroseek.com. Pull it out if you do have one. Because here are the Aquila Eagle Starseed codes. I have tropical zodiac eagle codes here for the three main stars in Altair and Aquila, the eagle. The first one being Altair, which is Alpha Aquila at 2 degrees 6 minutes Aquarius, tropical zodiac. We have Alshane, a Beta Aquila at 2 degrees 45 minutes Aquarius, and Tarazed, or Gamma Aquila, at 1 degree 15 minutes Aquarius. In the sidereal zodiac system, we have Altair at 7 degrees, Alshane at 8 degrees, and Tarazed at 7 degrees of Capricorn. So you want to see if you have any planets or luminaries or asteroids conjunct the degrees of Aquila, especially your sun, your moon, and your rising. If you have one of these stars within 2 to 3 degrees of one of your big three, that's a starseed code, and that means that one of your more recent starseed homes or starseed incarnations is in Aquila. You are an eagle starseed. That's your starseed origin, one of them. You have many of them. If you had one of these stars conjunct like a very far out planet, could be Neptune, could be Pluto, could be Sedna, could be some of those even beyond Pluto, evolutionary minor dwarf planets, that would be considered a much more ancient galactic origin or starseed origin, a soul origin point potentially, which we would always reference in an Akashic Records reading because the astrology chart doesn't tell us everything, but it can sure tell us a lot. You also want to pay attention to any of the stars of Aquila on or near one of your angles. So your ascendant, first house, your descendant, seventh house, your MC, 10th house generally, or your IC, fourth house. That also indicates very strong connection to Aquila and this eagle energy. So even if you don't have any Aquila placements, you can look at the house that Aquarius falls in your tropical zodiac chart, or it will be Capricorn in your sidereal chart. And that will show you the area of life most influenced by eagle energy. All right. So we also have the Aquila alignment we want to cover here. So the Eagle constellation will be conjunct the sun roughly January 21st through January 24th. These dates will vary slightly based on your latitude. But the sun in general is conjunct the main star in Aquila, the Eagle. That will be conjunct Altair, January 21st through 22nd. The sun will be conjunct Alshane, Beta Aquila, January 22nd through 23rd, and then conjunct Terra Z, 23rd through 24th of January. That means that Aquila is more visible in the day sky if you're in the northern hemisphere, and it's a great time to just absorb some sunlight onto your third eye, to receive any activations through the portal of the sun from the Eagle constellation and our cosmic avian star families in Aquila. Then we have the opposite alignment with Aquila, where Aquila is opposite the sun. It's more visible in the night sky in the northern hemisphere, June 21st through 24th, roughly. And Aquila, it's great to do some stargazing during that time, to absorb some star codes, to work on healing any blocks to connecting with Aquila or Eagle, our animals, spirit guides, galactic guides, star family. And these dates will be reversed if you're in the southern hemisphere. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're going to have the conjunct alignment in June and the opposite alignment in January. How do you use the Aquila alignment besides just absorbing some beautiful light codes from either the stars or the sun? Well, if you feel called to deliver a divine message, but you need to learn how to access those messages, or you just need to summon up some courage to be able to share your message with the world, share your gifts a little bit more, sharing your messages more with the world, the Aquila alignment is a perfect time for this. And hey, maybe you just love eagles, birds, multidimensional avian beings, and you want to connect more with them. This is a great time to do so. Whatever the need, the Aquila alignment can help with that. All right, you guys, that's been our Aquila Eagle Starseed webinar here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you'd like to learn more about galactic origins, about starseed origins, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. You can check out my many different courses, offerings, ebooks. I have it all, baby. So make sure you're signed up for the newsletter so you can stay up to date with all the magical things that I be creating. And thank you again for joining me. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Gorgeous souls, and welcome back to another fabulous avian starseed video. In this one, we're going to do a little swan dive into Cygnus, the swan constellation. And welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Heather of the Starseed Sanctuary. If you haven't already subscribed, please take a minute and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the fabulous cosmic content I'll be making around y'all. And if you are also interested in learning more about Starseed Galactic Origins, I highly encourage you to check out the links below this video for my brand new Starseed Astrology course. Drop it soon. All right. So Cygnus, the Swan constellation. Cygnus is a very prominent constellation in the northern sky, and its name means the swan in Latin. The 16th largest constellation located in the northern hemisphere. And there's some notable objects in the constellation, including Cygnus A, the first black hole ever discovered, and Cygnus X1, a famous X-ray source that we continue to get signals and messages from to date. And the image there on the right is a composite image of Cygnus A and X-rays, the blue kind of color there, and the radio waves that are in the red or the pink. And this beautiful optical light around it, the yellow kind of sparkle. The two jets from the galaxy's supermassive black hole generate these hot spots, which are located about 300,000 light years from the galaxy's center. So the Swan constellation Cygnus has 10 stars with known planets. It contains 2 Mycenaean objects, pictured here, M29 and M39. The brightest star in the constellation is Deneb, or Alpha Cygni, which is also the 19th brightest star in the sky. And there are two meteor showers associated with this constellation, the October Cygnids and the Kappa Cygnids. Great star clusters and deep space objects in Cygnus. So some symbolism, the stararchetype, and sightings in dreams. So Cygnus the swan, swans are very revered, very well known for their beauty and grace. They can also be quite ferocious when provoked or attacked. But in general, the swan symbolism is that of beauty, of grace, of fidelity, purity, adaptability, very connected to the water element, to balance, to partnership, spiritual growth, union, soulmates, and love. As a stararchetype or a starseed archetype, if this is a prominent galactic origin, one of your more recent starseed origins, or even a more ancient soul origin point, these starseeds tend to be very intuitive, very protective. They're incredibly gifted astral travelers and multidimensional travelers. They tend to be emotional empaths and really magical water healers. They often are doing something with water or with emotion. They're magnificent ascension guides as well. Happen to encounter up in one of your dreams, can be assigned to embody the energy of wellness and then an abundant of wealth and beauty. The swan is a symbol of love across many different cultures here on Earth and okay, so Cygnus, starseeds, and swan soul. One of your more recent incarnations was connected to Cygnus, you would be considered Cygnus starseed. If your soul